First thing we noticed was on startup, we thought like something was broken. So today we are doing the GrimmSpeed pitch stop mount install. We've had this since March, so it's been quite a few months. So I'm excited to install it because it's just been sitting in the box along with our GrimmSpeed banner in here. And apparently it's one of those parts where, small part, but it makes a big difference. So we shall see how it is.
After a battle of trying to open the box, we got it. So there's the pitch stop mount.
Although GrimmSpeed does always have good packaging. So GrimmSpeed, good job. All your packaging is always snug and fit.
Another sticker.
Yay.
We have so many of those.
I think every part you order comes with a sticker.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So, cool thing about the
It's engraved.
pitch stop mount is it has the GrimmSpeed logo on one side and then the text on this side. And when we install it, they said you can install it however side you want, whatever you want to show. So we can either show it like this or like that, which is cool.
I didn't know that.
So it's made out of aluminum, which is hefty. And then these bushings are same material as the ones we have on the exhaust.
Yeah, I can feel it and it's like
Super firm.
Yeah, it's very snug,
Should
firm.
be good. So I'm excited to take the stock one off and compare it with this one. But I think it's gonna make a big difference.
I just like how it's engraved in there.
Yeah.
Cause so usually with these parts, I mean, I don't know if other companies, but sometimes it's like a sticker and it like comes off after a while, but this is nicely engraved, which is really nice. It just feels like the quality is like hefty, you know?
Install should be pretty simple. Handful of 12 mil bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hose clamp. And then there's one for the turbo outlet hose right in there to loosen it so that we can slide this out. Another bolt here. One more on that side. And I think that's it. Good that we don't have a strut tower base because that makes it a little bit challenging. So that should slide out and then the pitch stop mount will be right underneath. Meanwhile, the missus is doing some basic maintenance.
Some windshield fluid.
Are you sure that's not blinker fluid?
No.
Wait, is there
Maybe
such thing
it
as
is
blinker?
blinker fluid.
How do you know?
Don't be dumb. I'm smarter than that. This blinker fluid.
Okay. So apparently it makes our turn signals smoother, right?
Well, the pink is for, the blue one is for the windshield because water, and then the pink is for your blinkers.
Ah.
So.
Does it make like the ticking sound louder or what?
No, not the ticking sound, but it just makes it more clear. So you see how
Oh.
Iris is blurry right now?
Yeah.
Once you put the pink one on, it like cleans it out.
Ah.
So.
I didn't know blinker fluid can clear your headlights.
No, it does.
Wow.
It does. Like that's why you have the pink one and Rain-X because then it just like.
Oh,
when
it just slides off.
That's what I'm saying. People don't know this. People always buy the blue one. It's like, no, that's for that. If you buy the pink one, it's for like it's like a dual purpose. You know what I'm saying? The dual purpose. You need a flathead.
As you can see, we just bought that.
Yeah. And a 12 mil socket with an extender to get in difficult spots.
Yes.
In there.
All the bolts are out, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's all there. You gotta pop out the bypass valve. I think there's a gasket underneath, and then do the hose clamp 1, and there's 2. One more in there, and then we should be good. So this hose is actually clamped to the intercooler. You can just pull it off, and that way it won't get caught when we pull the whole thing out. This hose clamp, make sure to just loosen the one that goes into the intercooler. Leave this one tight so that it gives enough wiggle room for the intercooler to go back. And then you want to wiggle to your right so that the turbo hose can slide off. All right. Here it is. That's the intercooler. The most important part, there's the pitch stop mount.
Yeah. So far, I would say it's been a pretty easy engine mod. For, I think, our first engine mod, actually.
All right, here's the second bolt. And moment of truth. Boom.
Whoa, that came out so easy.
Look at this flimsy thing. Look at this flimsy thing. Compared to the new one.
Whoa.
Way nicer.
Is it heavier?
For sure. I mean, this is plastic. This is
Is
aluminum.
this plastic?
Yes.
Wow, that's so sad.
Big difference. Bushing is pretty weak as well compared to this one. Now the question is, do we want this facing up or this side?
I kind of like the GS, but this kind of looks dope too.
I kind of like the GrimmSpeed one.
Yeah, let's go with the GrimmSpeed.
Okay. So, basically, same thing as we took it off. Now just in reverse. Putting this in now. Yeah. Super snug on the hose.
Is that it? It's tight, baby. Sure.
Bolts-wise, everything was simple. So now we're just tightening everything up, and then we time for a test drive.
I'm excited to see how it's gonna drive. This is supposed to help with making it more notchy.
Yeah, I guess just not as much pitch and movement from the engine and trans when the car's moving, which is good because less weight moving, better handling, and so on. First thing we noticed was on startup, we thought something was broken, but the car just sounded, I don't know, how would you describe that sound?
Like a little battery fail type of, I don't know.
Like, it's hard to describe when the car is starting up.
You really hear the ignition.
I'm gonna demonstrate it. I don't know if you can hear it on camera. Let's see. Like, it almost sounds like whatever insulations between us and the motor is gone. Like,
Yeah.
it just feels louder. And we thought we forgot to reinstall something or like something's loose, but we started the car again and it still sounds the same. So that's probably just part of what the part does.
But when we drive the car, you can really hear the transmission.
Yeah, you can hear like the drivetrain, the transmission, not in a bad way, but you just hear more noise.
Yeah.
But it's hard to notice with the exhaust, so we really had to listen. I think if you didn't have any exhaust, then you could really notice it. But for sure on takeoff, what do you feel?
It's definitely a little bit notchier for sure. I think we would be able to feel it a lot more if we didn't have the exhaust. I think it would be a huge difference. But because we have the exhaust, and number one, it's loud. Two, there's already vibration from the car, from the inside of the car, from the exhaust. So it's hard to tell, but it's one of those parts that, like what you mentioned, you really have to know your car. Then you'll notice like, oh, this is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more like, okay, I notice first, second, and third gears where you notice more of a difference when driving it. And then when you're cruising, you just hear more of the transmission, which is kind of cool if you like that. Like, you really feel the rawness of the car.
At first, I literally thought, like, you could almost mistake it for, like, when something's leaking air.
Yes.
Like, it almost sounds like a tss. Like, I almost thought it was because we didn't tighten the hose, but I know we did for a fact. Super tight. But when you play closer attention, then you realize it's the transmission.
Yeah.
I really don't know if the camera can pick it up, but
Probably can't pick up the transmission sound because it's too quiet, I think, for the camera. But for the startup, I think you might be able to hear it.
yeah. Either way, we can hear it. You can tell a difference, but yeah, you would have to know your car. Like, if you just don't pay attention to these things when you drive, even after the part, you probably wouldn't notice. But given that whoever you guys are watching and you're thinking about getting this part, it's probably because you care enough about these things to notice the difference. And I would say it's a more subtle part. Like if nobody told you that the part was on, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't notice it. Yeah. It's cool though, but I think we need to do all the engine mounts. Then I think they will all kind of come and play together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Which I really, really want to do because I love that like stiffness of like really feeling the engine. There's just something about it.
Yeah. Either way, I would say the part, is it worth $100?
How much was it?
It was $100.
$100.
Is it worth it?
I probably, to be very honest, I probably wouldn't get it again. Like knowing now that we have it, I'm like, it didn't make our driving experience any better. But if you are looking to do all the mounts on the engine, then I would say, yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm torn. Like now that I can feel a little bit of difference, it's like, oh, this does feel a little bit better. But at the same time, it's not big enough for me to
Say it's
like, if
worth
nobody
100.
told me, like if you changed the part overnight and I got in the car, I would not have noticed it overnight.
Yeah.
Other than maybe like the noise, I'd be like, that's
What's
weird.
that? Yeah.
But other than that, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. But for $100 for a budget mod, I would say quality-wise, it's there.
100%.
No doubt about that. Like compared to the stock one, night and day. Like the stock one is just flimsy. So in that aspect, yes, it's worth it. But in terms of how much of a difference do you notice, you don't notice it. That's just our honest opinion.
Yep.
Either way, it's still a great product. Build is awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's all up to you guys if you are considering. We are all done.
Yes, finally.
First engine mod. Check.
Boom.
And nothing went wrong. So it was good. All in all, a good day.
It's pretty easy to install.
Level of difficulty 1 to 5. I would say 2.
2.5.
Ooh, pretty close.
Ooh! 2.5. Because, like, taking the bolts and stuff out is really easy, but it's just when you actually have to remove the intercooler fully, where it's a little bit challenging for, like, angles and
Yeah.
playing around with it. Other than that, it was pretty easy, and yeah.
If you are considering that part, if you care about the subtle, tiny little differences, it's worth it. I mean, it's $100, so it's not that expensive a part. If you're expecting,
You might get better parts with that $100, depending on what you're looking for.
so if you are expecting like a night and day difference,
Yeah.
like for example, stock exhaust to a catback exhaust, that is like noticeable, obviously.
Yeah.
This part is not like that. So if that's what you're expecting, then you might be disappointed, or I would just get another part.
I do wish we got to kind of like really notice a difference with it more, but I think once we do more like mounts, changing more mounts around the engine, I think we will notice more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can notice like we hear the transmission a lot more already.
The startup is different.
You hear it better. I think it's because it's stiff.
Yes. Okay.
So the sound stiff
Yes. I mean,
and
yes.
not stiff.
So that's probably the YouTube mechanics way of explaining how that works.
That's my way of explaining it, okay? I'm thinking it's just stiff and it just stops the sound, or it brings the sound versus plastic does not bring the sound.
Either way, there's more sound.
I don't know.
There's more vibration.
Anyways.
Hope you guys enjoyed that video. We're going to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
So until next time, we'll see you on the next one.